Welcome to Food for the Soul. I'm your host, Kiana Swindell, and on today's episode, we'll be giving you your fix of spiritual and intellectual nourishment. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I'm paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow. I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money gonna come from? Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
Not home.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Welcome back to Food for the Soul. I'm your host, Kiana Swindell, and on today's show, we're talking with local educators who are making a difference in the lives of Prince George's County students and in the schools of our community. Joining us now is the 2014 Prince George's County Principal of the Year and Principal of Dr. Henry R. Wise Senior High School, Miss Carletta Morrow. And also joining us is Prince George's County Teacher of the Year, Ms. Laura Shelton, and upcoming Student Council Board member, Mr. Jeffrey Taylor. So thank you all for joining us today on our whole topic of education. So, Ms. Morrow, you are the 2014 Principal of the Year. Yes. Well, I guess technically you are the recipient of the Washington Post Distinguished Educational Leadership Award. Is that technically? Okay, yes. So congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your path to Principal of the Year, or just becoming a principal in general.
Okay. So I started my career in Prince George's County about 16 years ago.
Okay.
And my path actually was kind of non-traditional. I started out as a teacher's assistant and then went on to teach in the alternative setting at Annapolis Road Middle School. And then I went on to Benjamin Stoddard Middle School, which actually gave me a lot of background on instructional knowledge and actually how to just get to children and teach teachers as well. And so I used that knowledge, and I soon became an administrator at Northwestern High School, where I was assistant principal, and then later moved on to Gwynn Park High School as principal, and then currently at Dr. Henry A. Wise Junior High School as principal. Okay. And so all of these opportunities helped me to get where I am today.
So as though you are the 2014 Principal of the Year, how did you become the Principal of the Year? What are the steps? Do you have to be nominated? What did it take?
So to become the Washington Post DELA, is what they refer to it as.
Okay.
There's a process through the school system where actually staff, parents in the community, and students actually nominate you. They created a portfolio with lots of letters of recommendations, things that you've done to show your work around certain criteria. And it's a very competitive process. There will probably anywhere from 10 to 12 nominees in the school system that are then forwarded to the Washington Post as finalists for the actual award.
Oh, wow. Very competitive.
Yes, it is.
So I'd imagine that in the education world, to receive this honor of the Washington Post Distinguished Educational Leadership Award is a big deal.
It is. So, it is. And I'm very honored and humbled.
Yes, you think you have some jealousy amongst your peers a little bit?
I hope not. I hope not.
Well, it's all for the good of education. So now you are the principal at Dr. Henry A. Wise Jr. High School.
Yes.
What changes have you seen, or what things do you love most about your school? As you said, you've been to a lot of different schools of different ages and in different positions. So now, with your experience at Wise, what would you say has been most rewarding to you about your time at Wise as principal?
So many things have been rewarding at Wise. I think that one of the biggest things is, in my career, Wise is one of the largest high schools in the school system and the largest school that I've worked in. And just to see the diversity within the school, although our community is in Upper Marlboro, we service a large population within the school system. And so for me, the success of the school is seeing what my students are able to do. And this year alone, we've just done so much, and been getting awards just for college summits, school of the year. Jeffrey's a student at Wise, so student member of the board. Sports, just everywhere, test scores rising, scholarships and things. And so I get my reward from what the students are doing and what my staff is able to do. One of the things I always say to them is, I look good because you're good. And I think it's about the people around you. It's not about you. We often in education, and especially in high school, moving from the attitude of isolation to collaboration has been big. And one of the things we do at WISE is definitely show our Puma pride and ensuring that our students, our teachers, and the community just really buy into the whole motto of average is officially over. And that's what we've lived within my time there.
Average is officially over.
Yes, yes.
So, you know, younger generations have been getting a hard time in the eyes of our people in generations above them as far as social media goes and social networking. I've always wondered if principals and teachers and people in leadership positions in the school system have noticed any change or any bearing on their students because of social media. Now, you have are clearly running a successful school, and you have students like Jeffrey and other students that are excelling in other academic programs and sports. Would you say that, have you noticed in your time with your students and just your school in general, that social media has hindered the learning experience?
And so social media, I think it has its pros and cons.
Okay.
We have some instances where we've had to intercede because of things that have happened on social media, but we also educate our students around the pros and cons with using it the proper way. We actually have Puma's Den ourselves that we use to disseminate information, and the kids give feedback.
Okay. That's nice.
So our assistant principal leads it along with some of the students, and it really helps to get information out. And so I just believe if it's used properly, it's a good tool. But we're also finding that we're constantly educating our students on using it properly so that you don't ruin your life and ruin your future. Exactly. And that's been the message with social media, because it does have some great aspects about it, but just using it properly.
Finding the balance, because like you said, it is absolutely something that it's here to stay.
Yes.
So if we use it to our advantage, it can be very, very helpful to us all.
Yes.
So since you are principal of the year, also Washington Post Distinguished Educational Leadership recipient, award recipient, long title, love those. What would you say are some ways that you would continue to lead WISE and have it being one of the #1 schools in our county, or #1 high schools?
So I would continue to make sure that our vision and mission is being upheld in the school, and ensuring that our students are first in everything that we do, even with our student leaders in the building. Everything and every decision that we make at WISE is about the kids and getting feedback from them, getting buy-in from them. And if we continue to do that, we will continue to be successful. With all the new testing and things, I'm actually looking forward to seeing the results this year, because I believe we're going to see major gains just from what our students were able to produce this year.
Nice. Okay. Well, you know, if I was back in high school, it sounds like I know exactly where I would want to be.
Good.
Either when I go to high school, I want to be over there with you at WISE, and then also if I was a little bit more on the creative side, I would like to be at Benjamin D. Floyd Creative and Performing Arts Academy in Morningside, Maryland, where we have the 2014 Teacher of the Year, Miss Laura Shelton. So thank you, Miss Shelton, for coming and speaking to us today. So again, as I asked Miss Mara, how did you become Teacher of the Year? Well, let's backtrack. How did you get into education? What brought you to being a teacher?
Okay. Prior to coming to the classroom, this is a really interesting story. I used to work for the Department of Corrections.
Really?
I worked for a maximum security male prison about 45 minutes west of Richmond. And that was an interesting educational opportunity for me. And that ultimately, that is what propelled me into the classroom, to be able to affect the thinking of our young men. I worked at a male prison, but also of our young women before they had a chance to make those types of errors that might land them in prison.
I can see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I understand how that could want to push you, because you're firsthand right there when you're working in a corrections facility. Wow.
I was a corrections officer. I wore a uniform and a badge.
Ooh, okay. So they know not to mess with Miss Shelton.
Actually, they do, yes.
So was your journey to Teacher of the Year, did you have to be nominated in the same sense that Miss Mara was, or how was the process of How were you recognized?
Each school in the county had opportunity to nominate up to 2 teachers.
Okay.
And I was one of the 2 that was nominated not only by my colleagues, but parents as well.
Okay.
And again, we also had to prepare a portfolio that was not just your resume or a letter of recommendation, but also your response to some questions about your philosophy and just some introspective questioning. And there was a board, I guess, a committee that reviewed, and then there was an interview process, and they came and taped me in my classroom, and there was an announcement made in early May.
Oh, nice. So what subject do you teach?
I teach science, 8th grade science.
Okay, nice, nice. Okay. And as a teacher, you're in firsthand right there in the room with the students all day. How would you say, how important is it to encourage parents to be more involved with their students and, you know, piggybacking with you teaching them throughout the day? What would you say? What could you say to speaking to parent involvement?
It's a partnership. It's a partnership between the scholar, between myself and the parents. So it's absolutely imperative that the parents be involved with the learning that they supported at home. I try and make efforts to communicate to the parents so that they're aware as to what the expectations are and as kept abreast as to their scholars' achievement so that they know how they can offer support. Schools, we also offer community events or workshops for the parents to come in, especially with the new criterion coming in with the Common Core. And so we certainly want to keep parents informed so that they're able to support the kids at home.
Okay, all right. So this is a fun question we always like to ask our guests. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Working.
Working, yeah.
And certainly in education.
In education, right.
I'm not certain. There are lots of opportunities, not only in the classroom, but outside of the classroom, not only inside the schoolhouse, rather, but just at higher levels within the county. I don't know. Perhaps something in the science office. I think I definitely want to continue working to support the science curriculum in the county. Perhaps not in the classroom, but I love what I do for now, and so I'm going to stay in the classroom for now.
Nice, okay.
Yeah.
Well, would both of you ladies consider yourself lifelong learners?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Maybe not in a formal sense. I'm not working on a doctorate.
Right, right now.
But we have to continue to learn as the types of opportunities we're offering our kids are evolving. We have to evolve with those, especially in the area of technology.
Right.
So certainly
yeah,
we're constantly
absolutely.
learning.
Now, I know that Jeffrey here probably knows a lot about technology. And Jeffrey, I would also love to be able to continue to be a learner as well, but I know you ladies already with the positions that you have in education could teach me under the table. So, Jeffrey,
yes.
How are you today?
I'm very good. How
Thank
are you?
you so much for joining us. Now, I must say you are very mature. To be in high school, I was thinking, wait, I thought he's in college? No.
Thank you.
So you are the newly elected, the upcoming school board member.
Yes, student member on the Board of Education.
Student member on the Board of Education.
Yes,
Thank you for the clarification. Okay, so tell us a bit about that and your leadership within school and your everyday.
Yes, I started with leadership in 9th grade attending Dr. Henry A. Wise Junior High School. I was the class of 2015 president, the next year president again, and this year I took on the role of overall SGA president. These experiences most definitely have developed me to where I am today, not only with the process of running for the student member on the Board of Education. It brought me to the point where I was affirmed in my leadership and I knew what I was doing was best for the county. So of course, after the application process, I was sent to an interview with maybe 6 or 7 other student member on the board hopefuls, and it was narrowed down to 2. After that, we had an election at a General Assembly through PRIGARS, the Prince George's Regional Association of Student Government, and that's how I got to where I am today.
Wow, okay. So in some of your leadership positions that you've already had, because your resume is already building, what are some changes that you've been able to help bring to your school?
As not only the class of 2015 president, when we came into our freshman year, of course, our main goal was to raise money. And that is what we did. Brought us to where we are today with over $15,000 that we are using for our senior year. So on top of that, and the Student Government Association president, I think that I've had a great, and along with my other SGA members, we had a great homecoming. We promoted drug-free Safety Awareness Week. We also did advisory lessons that we broadcast throughout the whole school, informing the students not only on things from cyberbullying to safe driving to non-texting and driving. So I think that my impact as a Student Government Association president has made a great impact along the whole school.
So what are your future goals? Where do you see yourself? You know, high school's going to come to an end at some point. You are obviously a leader. Do you see yourself going into education, or do you, or what do you see for yourself in the future?
Either education or politics. I would like to go to college and major in political science.
Or both?
Yes, and that is true. And then come back to this county so that I can give back to what brought me to where I am today.
Nice. So. Okay. Well, best of luck as upcoming school board student representative member. Is there any last? We're coming up on a break soon, but as educators and as a student, was there anything you would like to see changed if you had it your way in a perfect world? What change would you make today to increase positive education just as a whole across the county? I know that's probably a bit vague of a question, but I'm sure as educators, there's things you see daily or things you go through all the time and you wish, if this one thing was different, that would help me a little bit better during my day, with my students. Is there any, anything along those lines that you might be able to?
Any one thing that would help improve?
Yes, any one thing help you be able to do your job even better. Yes.
That's a good one. Any one thing. Well, there have been so many shifts as far as the family values, what the nation perceives as being successful, what the national standards of achievement are. If we could just get some sort of consistency within those areas, it would just help me to preserve what I need to be able to get to the kids. It would make it a little easier for me. But I mean, we're trying to evolve with all of the changes that are out there, because change is necessary. Right. It's like, again, especially in the area of technology, but those shifting values affect the way the kids think, and so we want them to stay focused on the main thing.
That's a great point that you bring up, because in the age of social media and reality of TV, that's why I wanted to ask you about that, because I know that's something really new that's different from generations before in education, and I know that it's making your job a lot more involved, among other things, of course, to be a principal and a teacher, and then also a student that has leadership positions. So taking time from your busy day-to-day and thanking you for all that you do. I wouldn't be in my position if I didn't have a principal, if I didn't have a teacher, and if I didn't have members of the student board like you. So again, thank you all so much for coming and discussing education with us, and we hope you come back again. But for now, when we come back, we'll be talking about Prince George's County's Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated's Gamma Pi chapter and how the Qs are supporting education across the county. You don't want to miss it, so stay tuned to get more food for your soul. We'll be right back.
Now the big guy comes up with that, hitting 340.
If I ride, I will know the way the trees smell after the rain. I will grow a heart so strong that hospitals will take Tuesdays off. If I ride uphill, I will eventually get to ride downhill. That's how it works. If I ride, my breath will fill the air instead of smoke and car exhaust. If I ride, road rage will turn into laughter. And I won't be a boy or a girl. I will just be a rider. If I ride, I will be strong.
We're back on Food for for the Soul. I'm your host, Kiana Swindell, and today we're talking with local educators who are making a difference in the lives of students in the community. Joining us now is the current boss list of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated's Gamma Pi chapter, Mr. Brian K. Long. Welcome to the show, Mr. Long.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today. So you are the boss list of the Gamma Pi chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated in Prince George's County.
Correct.
All right, we got all that clear. So how do you become a boss list? Please tell us about your leadership in your organization, fraternity.
Okay. First, let me talk about the chapter itself,
Okay.
Gamma Pi. Gamma Pi is the third largest chapter in our fraternity, whereas we have over 700 chapters worldwide.
Okay.
Gamma Pi has about 170 dues-paying brothers at this time. During our centennial year in 2011, we had over 200 brothers in the chapter. We are located in the 2nd district of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, and the 2nd district consists of the following states: Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York. Gamma Pi just recently, last year, celebrated 40 years of assistance and service in the Prince George's County community. I was initiated into the fraternity in 1986 at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, Psi Delta chapter. For 2 years here in Gamma Pi, I served as the keeper of records and seal, which is more like the chief business officer, the chief operating officer.
Okay.
And then I felt the need to step up and be of greater service to the fraternity and to the chapter. So I talked to my family, consulted with them, and made the decision to run for boss list of the chapter, and I ran unopposed.
Oh, unopposed. Okay. Well, you have a nice little history here in the county and clearly statewide.
Yeah.
So what are some of the major education initiatives of the Gamma Pi chapter? And we hear that you all are very involved in the community, in the county.
One is scholarships.
Okay.
We offer scholarships where you must apply and compete.
Okay.
Then we have our Project ENRICH program, which is a college preparatory program for 4 years, where the individual will start in the 9th grade and will continue until the 12th grade.
Wow, okay, that's, wow, okay.
Yeah. And then we have what we call Kidz Dayz, which is not strictly an education program, but it's more of a program where we work with young kids to work on enrichment activities that will expose them to cultural and personal support and growth, as well as personal fitness and well-being.
Okay, and that the latter you are is that your Project ENRICH initiative? Is that what you're referring to?
The latter is more of a Kidz where we work with younger kids.
So what about your Project ENRICH initiative? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, our Project ENRICH initiative program is, like I said, it's more like a college preparatory program.
Okay.
However, the focus is to focus on the current academic status of the students who are participating in the program and to prepare them for college.
Okay.
They meet once a month at Bowie State University, and we have several seminars. We have time management. We have seminar on choosing college classes as well as your majors. We also look at financial aid, and we also look at increasing their analytical and writing skills, where they will participate in our annual essay contest.
Wow, so you know, that is a very unique program because you actually follow, it's important, you don't hear too many scholarships or programs or education initiatives that actually help the student as they're going through.
Right.
Most of the time it's just like, okay, you know, well, almost time for college, let's go ahead and fill out this scholarship and see if you get it. But not many programs are actually allowing you to help groom that student.
That's right.
And kind of, you know, keep them accountable the whole time they're in high school.
And that's the key word you said is groom, and that's what we're trying to do, is groom them and prepare them for college life.
Okay. So how many people do you think, or how many scholarships do you think that the Gamma Pi chapter is giving out in time, ever since, you know, you all have been
in assistance? Yeah, on a yearly basis, we give out 20 scholarships. Wow. We give out over $20,000 in scholarship to college freshmen, as well as follow-on support. And it equals out to about 20 individuals each year. Oh, wow. So it looks as though we may have given out over 400 scholarships since our assistance, which is a good thing. And speaking of Project ENRICH, we also give out scholarship to those students as well. And one proud thing we are so happy about is that 100% of our students in Project ENRICH go to college.
100%.
100%.
Wow. 100%. Wow. So as far as Kidz and all of your education initiatives, how can people of the community or parents that want to get their children involved in these programs, how can they find out more about your programs, or how can they, do you hold meetings people can come to, and how can we figure them out?
They can go to our websites.
Okay.
There's two.
Okay.
We have www.gammapi.org, and we have www.projectenrich.org. Okay. For scholarship applications, you would go to the gammapi.org website. For applications for Project ENRICH, you would go to our projectenrich.org website. You can also send an email to our Project ENRICH chairman, Brother Willie Hines, at projectenrich@gmail.com, and he will return your email immediately.
Okay. All right. So I also understand that several members of the Gamma Pi chapter are leaders in education. Mm-hmm. So who are do we know some of these people?
Yes, you do know some of those people. First of all, we are blessed to have several educators in our chapter. Some have retired and some are still working in education. Most of them are retired principals.
Okay.
This year, our Educator of the Year is from our chapter, and is our very own Brother Damon Goins, who's the principal of Gatewood Elementary School.
Okay.
We also have Dr. Mickey Burnham, who's president of Bowie State University. We also have Dr. Luther Burse, who is the former president of Fort Valley State, as well as Cheyney University. We have Dr. Ed Ryans, who is the head of principals for the Prince George's County School System. And we have Brother Gordon Everett, who is my predecessor, who is the national president of the National Alumni Association of Winston-Salem State University. And we have Brother Roland Bird, who's a former professor of Howard University.
Wow. That's a lot of educators and heavy hitters too, huh?
Right.
So I kind of jumped the gun a little bit. So we know now that Gamma Pi is incredibly involved with education. Right. How did this become an initiative in the first place? Why is education so important to is it the Gamma Pi chapter, or is it Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated in general?
It's Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated in general. Scholarship is one of the 4 principles of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. It is near and dear to the hearts of all the brothers. Each chapter in the fraternity is mandated to have some type of scholarship program. Okay. Our founding fathers of our fraternity were educators and were working in the education field, as we do have many that are continuing to work in the education field.
Wow, so it's just been that important.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know we're coming to a close. I want to know, what can we expect from Gamma Pi in the future?
What you should expect is continuity and stressing education, the importance of education, and seeing the brothers of Gamma Pi out there pushing education forward and moving our youth towards getting a good education.
Well, I am very thankful that you came here today, Mr. Brian K. Long, the bossless of the Gamma Pi chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, Prince George's County Gamma Pi chapter.
There you go.
So we hope to have you again, and thank you so much for all that you do. More Greeks need to kind of get on board of the Gamma Pi train. But that's all our time for now. And I hope you were able to get your fix of spiritual and intellectual nourishment from today's show. I'm your host, Kiana Swindell, and we'll see you next time on Food for the Soul.